Welcome to Printronix Technical Tips. My name is Terry Whitmire. Today we're going to talk about the new online data validation unit from Printronix, the combined RJS SV series as well as the online data validation unit. Let's just start from scratch. The old days, you got a Printronix RJS SV unit. It looks very similar to this. On the top of it, it had two connectors for the unit, and it was connected onto a rod through a connector like this. The Printronix Verifier, the online data validation unit, Verifier, looked like this. It had one connector on the top, which was an RJ11 connector, so you can see there's definitely a difference in the two on the top. But the same footprint, same look and feel. Of course, on the RJS SV unit, that had the little spin knob to go onto the shaft, where mounted in front of the Printron or the Zebra printer as an example. And on the Printronix side, it was a bracketed assembly that then mounted to a bracket that mounted onto the printer, where that verifier then slid onto a mounted bracket that was then mounted onto the device, onto the printer, as you can see here. So that was the setup on the old verifier. What we've announced now is a new verifier. And prior to showing you that, I want to go back to the Printronix one. The Printronix one had an RJ11 connector on the top. So you had a phone connector that basically plugged into the unit like that. On the other end, on the older ODV printers and the older model T5000 printers, on the main logic board, this was the end that connected into it. When we went to the R model printer, the T5000Rs, we changed that connector on the main logic board to a connector that looks like that. So now you have two versions of the ODV connectors. The older T5000s were an RJ11 on the main logic board. Now it's a long connector that's actually mounted to the main logic board on the T5000Rs. So with that saying, we've announced a new consolidated ODV SV unit. So basically what you see now is a smaller form and function fit. So here's the old one and here's the new one. You can see, I'll put them up right side up here. You can see they're actually smaller in size. Also, if we look at the unit itself, now we just have two connectors. So now this same unit can be, if you look on the back side, there's our two mounting holes where I can still mount my spin adapter for the SV unit, and on the ODV side I have a new bracket assembly, and the new bracket assembly allows me to then mount this unit based on whether it's a 4-inch printer, a 6-inch printer, or an 8-inch printer. It allows me to separate that and mount this unit on that bracket assembly like this. Okay, with those two screws. So those two screws, they actually secure that verifier, the ODV, right directly to this bracketed assembly. Also on the bracket assembly, you'll see, I'm trying to do it without blocking my view here, you'll see two other sets of holes, one here and then one over here. So these upper holes are the ones where we mount it securely, and the verifier then mounts securely to, the validator actually mounts securely to this bracket based on those two holes in the back of it. And then what happens is, on the assembly now, this still mounts against the side of the printer like that. I'll put it that way for you. That mounts to the side of the printer. But what happens is, you notice that the holes now are actually bigger than the nuts that are mounted there. So what happens, since I've mounted the verifier flush onto this unit, I can't move this bracket left and right like the old bracket. So to adjust it, basically there I loosen the screws and I loosen my pivot point here, and basically I'm going to rotate the bracket within those holes a little bit to make sure the beam is lined up to the tear-off bar portion of the adjustment on the installation instructions. The second part of that adjustment is to get the verifier straight across that tear-off bar. And to do that, on the bracket assembly, there are two other holes. And basically what it allows you to do is it allows us to put depending on which way we have to move the verifier, we have to skew the verifier left or right. We mount a screw in either this hole or this hole over here, and then we tighten that screw up, and that actually turns the verifier on the bracket one way or the other to give us that parallel to the tear-off bar that we need. The second part of that is in the price book today, for the field kit. I'll tell you for the field kit. For the field kit, the old part number was 251010-001. That part number has been obsoleted, so if you're looking for a field kit and you order that, it's going to get kicked back. So the new part number is 254192-001. So that's the new field kit. If you order with a printer, the original ordering sequence in the pricing manual is still correct. You just order that option, but you will get the new one as of today. So I just wanted to give you a quick update on the new ODV. If you have any questions for me, go ahead and feel free to give me an email. T as in Terry Whitmire, WHITMYER @Printronix.com. Just send me an email with your question. I'll be glad to answer it. Thanks a lot. Thanks for listening to Printronix Tech Tips.